In Designing Your Life, Burnett and Dave Evans approach career change and personal growth through a lens of design thinking, a process typically used in creating innovative products. The authors, both professors at Stanford University, introduce the idea that life and career decisions don't have to be overwhelming or binary, either you stick with what you have or radically reinvent yourself. Instead, they encourage readers to think like designers, constantly experimenting, prototyping, and iterating on different possibilities. This method allows you to explore career options, test them in the real world, and refine your direction based on feedback and new insights. The central premise of the book is that many of us, when faced with career uncertainty, try to figure out the perfect answer or solution right away. Burnett and Evans argue that this kind of thinking often leads to stress, paralysis, and the belief that there is one right career path. Instead, they propose that the goal is not to find the perfect job or career but to design a life that fits your evolving interests and goals. They emphasize that success in life and work is more about navigating the journey and being adaptable than it is about having a singular, ideal destination. A key theme throughout the book is the idea of reframing. Often, when we're stuck in a rut or feel unfulfilled in our careers, it's easy to become trapped in negative or limiting mindsets. For instance, someone might feel that their current career is not fulfilling but might assume that switching to a completely different field would be a huge, risky leap. The authors suggest that, instead of viewing such a change as a dramatic jump, we should reframe it as a series of small, manageable experiments. Rather than committing to an entire career change right away, they encourage trying out different roles, interests, and industries through small, low-risk prototypes. Such as taking a class, volunteering, or shadowing someone in a new field. One of the most important tools in designing your life is the Odyssey Plan, which asks you to imagine 3 possible versions of your life, each with different outcomes and trajectories. These plans serve as an exercise in imagining what your life could look like if you pursued various career paths or different choices in your personal and professional life. By doing this, Burnett and Evans suggest that you start to break free from the idea that there is only one way forward and realize that there are multiple paths that could lead to fulfillment. It's not about finding the right plan, but rather broadening your vision for what's possible. The Odyssey Plan forces you to think in terms of possibilities rather than limitations. Instead of focusing on what you can't do, because of age, financial situation, or lack of skills, you are encouraged to focus on what you could do with the right resources, skills, and mindset. For example, in one of their exercises, they ask you to imagine what your life would look like in 5 years if money were no object. This exercise helps you get out of the weeds of everyday concerns and consider what truly excites and motivates you, without the usual constraints of practicality. Alongside reframing, the book also stresses the importance of failure reframe. Too often, we associate failure with a permanent dead end, a signal that we're on the wrong track. However, Burnett and Evans stress that failure is a natural part of the design process. Failure, when viewed as feedback, can guide you toward more informed decisions and better solutions. Just like a designer who iterates on a prototype, each failure brings you closer to discovering what works. They advocate for a mindset where failure is not a source of shame but a learning opportunity. The authors also provide tools for making better decisions, especially when it comes to difficult crossroads or moments of uncertainty. One key approach is the Good Time Journal, where you track your daily activities and note when you feel energized and engaged versus when you feel drained or disinterested. This journal helps you become more attuned to what activities and environments make you come alive. With this insight, you can begin to make more intentional decisions about your career or life path. The idea is that by paying attention to your energy, you start to identify the things that truly resonate with you, and you can shape your life accordingly. Another crucial element of designing your life is the concept of mindset, specifically a growth mindset. A growth mindset refers to the belief that your abilities and talents are not fixed but can be developed over time through effort, learning, and persistence. The authors argue that this mindset is especially important when making a career change because it allows you to approach challenges and setbacks with a sense of curiosity and resilience. When you embrace the idea that you can learn new skills and adapt, you're much more likely to take the risks and try the new things that are required for a successful career pivot. Burnett and Evans also tackle the idea of the paradox of choice, explaining that the more options we have, the harder it can be to make a decision. This is particularly true when we're thinking about career changes or big life shifts. In an age of endless possibilities, it's easy to feel paralyzed by the sheer number of choices available. To overcome this, the authors recommend setting constraints and narrowing down your options. They suggest that, by creating parameters for your search, such as location, salary range, or work environment, you make the decision-making process more manageable and less overwhelming. At its core, designing your life is about giving yourself permission to experiment and explore. Too many of us settle into careers or life paths that don't truly align with our passions or values because we're afraid of making mistakes or choosing wrong. Burnett and Evans make a strong case for giving yourself the space to test, try, and learn. They offer a series of practical exercises that help you prototype your future and take calculated risks toward creating a life you find meaningful. Throughout the book, the authors consistently emphasize that no one is ever truly done designing their life. Just as a product design continues to evolve and improve, so too should our careers and personal lives. Life design is a lifelong process that involves continual reflection, experimentation, and adaptation. Even after making a career change or a significant life decision, you are still designing your life based on new insights, challenges, and experiences. The book is also deeply grounded in the idea of collaboration. The authors suggest that career change doesn't have to be a solitary journey. It can be helpful to bring others into the process, whether that means asking for feedback from mentors, friends, or family members or collaborating with colleagues and peers. By sharing your thoughts and ideas with others, you can gain fresh perspectives and refine your plans. Design, after all, is rarely done in isolation. The authors highlight the importance of creating a life that integrates work, relationships, and play in a way that feels cohesive and authentic. Rather than separating career from personal life, Burnett and Evans encourage readers to think holistically about what they want in all areas of life. In doing so, they suggest, you can create a more balanced, fulfilling life where work isn't just about earning a paycheck but is something that supports and enhances your overall well-being.